on the Straits of Magellan. We're standing on the beach at Punta Arenas, and behind us over here you can see basically the ocean. It is super windy. It's been windy all day. These straits were first discovered by Ferdinand Magellan in the 1500s, I think, on one of his around the world voyage, which was a way to cut off having to go around Cape Horn. So anyways, here we are. Right back there is the monument. I think it looks like a sextant or something on the globe, a monument to Magellan. So pretty cool. Shackleton story here. Fun to see it. This is the captain of the Yelko. It's the steel tugboat that finally made it to Elephant Island to rescue all the men that were left behind there on the Shackleton party. Several other attempts had already failed due to ice, but this one finally succeeded. This is to honor the crew, and this is the captain of the boat that finally did it. He's a Chilean man on a Chilean boat. In September of 1519, Magellan's expedition left Spain to explore the world. A lot of hardship and trials and a mutiny attempt along the way, and Magellan himself was killed by local people in the Philippines in 1521. But eventually this ship, the Victoria, did make it back to Spain, and after many people thought everyone was dead, but they did make it with the remnant and are credited with the first circumnavigation around the world. Magellan himself was from Portugal, but he sailed under the flag of Spain.
Ship.
We're on the very top of the back stern, looking forward to the bow on the top deck. Here's what I would call the tiller that attaches to the rudder there in the back that goes down into the water to steer the ship. And there seems to be an attachment to the tiller that goes up to the deck above, which is where I was steering it before. Here we are with a replica of the HMS Beagle, Darwin's ship. By a replica of the James Caird. This is the kind of lifeboat, shore boat that Shackleton and 4 others sailed from Elephant Island to South Georgia through tremendous seas, tremendous winds, tremendous waves, terrible hardship that people don't realize these days. And they made it safely. Eventually, to have the entire Shackleton crew that was left on Elephant Island rescued, but it took several months later. Anyway, this is it, a replica, but so cool to see, because this all is kind of why we're even here on this trip, this story. So, neat. Here we go. I'll go take a look. The boat was refitted somewhat for the journey after they made it to Elephant Island. Harry McNish, the carpenter, raised the sides of the boat a bit, and I think covered over the decking using old sail material from the Endurance, so that there was just this amount open to keep the seas out of the boat and keep it from being swamped. However, inside the boat was constantly wet all the time, and the men that were with Shackleton in this boat had great sufferings for 2+ weeks before they finally reached South Georgia, and then more struggle once they were there. Once Shackleton and his small crew reached South Georgia Island, they were in a safe, but there was still most of the crew left on Elephant Island. It took Shackleton about 4 months and about 3 or 4 failed attempts to get someone to take a ship and actually reach Elephant Island. A few ships tried, but they kept getting beaten back by too much ice. Finally, a small steel tugboat named the Yelko made it to within close enough to the shore that the men could be rescued onto that tugboat. And then they steamed back across Drake Passage, and they made their first official landfall here in Punta Arenas. So this city is important in the Shackleton story, and it's the end of this story more or less, but we made it to one of Shackleton's sites, so that's kind of neat. When the Yelko reached port here in Punta Arenas, Chile, they were greeted with much fanfare. People came out, and there was a lot of excitement and a lot of celebration that these men had made it back, and this was their spot. There's inside the hull. There was a crew of 6 on this boat once they made the journey from Elephant Island to South Georgia. And down here in the bottom, they placed about 2,000 pounds of rocks as ballast. And the men had to do everything on top of those rocks, sleep, eat, although sleeping and eating was few and far between for most of the time. I believe the James Caird was 22 feet long. Wow. It's an amazing story that I can't seem to get over. After having sailed Drake Passage in our much bigger ship, the Sea Venture, and rolling around quite a bit in it, I can just hardly imagine doing that in this boat. This ship was built in 1843 by the Chilean government to send an expedition down here to take control of the Strait of Magellan for Chile. It brought a group of soldiers who erected the Fort Bulnes, or else took it over, which pretty much solidified Chile's claim on the Strait of Magellan.